Okay. Now let's talk about Elko Nevada LDS Temple here. We've reported on this before. There are 20,000 LDS members in the county there in Nevada. And so I don't know, do that math. And if you trickle down probably around, I don't know, 500 that might go to the temple. Anyway, Elko Nevada Temple is almost finished. It's getting ready for its open house. And as we reported before, it built in an upscale neighborhood. And as you often find in an upscale neighborhood, there's a golf course right next to it. And when we talked about this before, they were concerned a little bit about this golf course. Would this interfere with the operation of the temple? Now, the golf course has been there forever. The temple built after the golf course, so they kind of knew what they were getting into. So,
they came to the nuisance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it says, hold on a second. The Elko City Planning Commission Tuesday denied the LDS Church's permission to erect a net. That's right, you heard it, a net to protect the patrons of the newly built temple from errant golf balls coming from the adjacent Ruby View golf course.
That's a famous golf course, isn't it?
I don't know. Are there famous golf courses in Elko, Nevada? Maybe there are, but it has been there a long time. It's been there a long time. It's a beloved golf course that has been in the city for a long time. The governing board cited objection to the proposed 127-foot height of the netting, saying it would detract from the aesthetics of the course and the surrounding neighborhood. So, of course, I had to put in a picture of Jesus golfing. There he is. But they're concerned.
Yeah, good form. One might say he has perfect form.
I know. His golf club's a little long, but
he gets bored with golf because it's 18 every round.
Exactly. And this is the fourth hole that we're worried about. The fourth hole is right beside the temple, and they're worried about their patrons, right? Being struck from on high, not even metaphorically, but actually physically. Church officials expressed safety concerns, noting they had found already around 200 golf balls on the property each year since construction started in May of 2022.
You know how much those cost nowadays? They should consider themselves lucky. That's
what I feel like. And what a surprise. You decide to build next to a golf course and you find golf balls on your property. This is again, not seeing around corners, perhaps.
But they haven't hit any cars or patrons or anything, have they?
It hasn't said that yet, but this is what they're trying to head off. My grandparents lived right next to a golf course in Nebraska. And as a kid, we had tons of fun collecting the balls that were over there. They literally had a garbage pail full of golf balls that they had found in their front yard because they lived right there. And it sounds like this is what's happening at the temple. It says no one can say whether the balls were directed as a result of malicious behavior or just from bad golfing at the city course. So I don't know who's saying that. I don't know if the church is claiming you guys are aiming for our temple or if the city's saying that, but somebody's concerned that they may actually purposefully be aiming at the golf course.
Are you saying that God can't even stop the balls of the Gentiles?
Those Gentiles have some balls, I'm telling you. Yeah. So the city of Elko installed surveillance cameras and signs urging the golfers to use caution at the fourth hole at Ruby View. It is not known if this has reduced the number of the stray golf balls. And there's the city council right there as they're discussing and saying, no, we just don't want a net. Sorry. Kind of like you guys knew what you were building next to, right? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints hope to win approval to construct the safety netting in time for the open house, which is going to start, in about a month and a half. The church can appeal.
They haven't really even had any patrons there then.
No, they've just had workers and construction since 2022, and they're saying they have already found all these golf balls. But I mean, they can see what possibly could happen, right? They can appeal, but it was a unanimous rejection to put up this giant net. So I don't know. We'll have to keep our eye on this. We'll have to keep our eye on the ball on this story, right? That's crazy. And then
Good one, Rebecca.
What?
Good one.
Yeah, I thought so too. My final temple slide is we've all been following Lori Vallow's most recent interview where she talks about, President Nelson and visiting with Jesus. And she talks a lot about the temple. And I just had to make this comparison, how, President Nelson and other church leaders talk about, how you're edified when you go to the temple, how, you become this great person when you go to the temple, how only good people go to the temple. The rest of us who can't get in, we're not so good. And here's Lori Vallow, who says in her interview, I went to the temple every day for like 3 years. So take that for what it is. But she did. She went to the temple every single day for 3 years.
You would think that would help.
You would think it would have some impact. Yeah, she even claimed that she went to the temple with Chad and Tammy, his wife. That was something new I had not heard before in that interview. So anyway, kind of interesting. Okay, that's the end of my temple news. I think maybe, is it Bill's story next? I think so.
It is. I'm again, going back to the China story. I'm just surprised that when you're the one true and living church upon the earth with which the Lord is well pleased, you can't just say a prayer and get a net built.
Yeah.
You can't even get a net put up.
No, you can't get the net put up. You can't get the members meeting in China. You can't get the temple built in Shanghai.
Nothing is going the way of Jesus's church.
That's how you know it's true.
It's all going sideways.
It's all this persecution, damn it. There wouldn't be this much persecution against a church that wasn't true.
Yeah, everything's going sideways, including the balls off the end of the clubs of those golfers.